Hello and welcome to Frequently Asked Questions. I'm Dr. Meghan. I'm a board certified physician in internal medicine, lifestyle medicine, and obesity medicine. And this is really important because I actually prescribe these medications all the time. I actually talk to patients about their weight all the time. I've helped hundreds of patients lose weight, and I'm here to help you too. So let's dive in. Today's question is, it feels like I'm in a catch-22. I have no appetite after injection for at least a few days, but I'm somehow supposed to eat 150 grams of protein a day to maintain muscle mass. I've tried forcing myself to eat and it's awful. It's just frustrating overall. Oh, that does sound frustrating. Yes, so this does come up for people. Now, first of all, everybody's protein goal is going to be a little bit different. For anybody's personal protein goal, talk to your doctor. A good ballpark range that I've discussed in the past is thinking about somebody's ideal body weight, the goal they're shooting for in kilograms, and the protein goal is often 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram ideal body weight per day. And my rule is always, I never want somebody to eat at the expense of their fullness. I do want people to get an adequate amount of protein, and that is very important. But what is also important is respecting your body's hunger and fullness cues. And I never want somebody to force themselves to eat protein at the expense of their fullness. Now, this is in a separate category. Then there are these people who, when they start the medication or they bump up on the medication, they just have no appetite. And then we have to do some creative problem solving with their meals. And I'll make a whole other video about that. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about somebody who's eating 3 meals a day. They are getting in adequate nutrition, but they are really struggling after, they're full before they've gotten all their protein in. And do not mishear me. Protein is important, but it is also important to learn to listen to your body's cues. So maybe there are some days for my patients where they don't always hit that protein goal 100% of the time, but maybe they're close. But I would much rather, top of the priority for me is that they are stopping when they are satisfied but not overly full. That is how a lot of people get into trouble in the first place, is that they are not listening to their body's cues, and they're eating and stopping eating for so many other reasons other than their own natural hunger and fullness. Nobody knows when they're hungry and when they're full and when they're overly full. And that's a really big problem. And it's still a problem for people who are on GLP-1 medications because nobody taught them how to do this. And so it is nice that this medication has a stronger signal, so people are finally sensing it. But again, you can still ignore it. And I think we tend to do that. When people do that, you're really doing it at your own peril. So if I have a patient and they're really consistently struggling with meeting their protein goal, that's definitely somebody that I want to have a longer discussion with. But if somebody's eating, a regular amount of meals, but they're just not always hitting that protein goal 100%, I never want them to eat past the point of, satisfied but not stuffed. I don't want them to do that for protein. But if you are struggling with that, you should have a extended conversation with your physician and make a game plan on what your goals are. But top of the list for my patients is honoring their hunger and their fullness. That is super important. That is not something that people learn in today's society. And so now a lot of people are learning it for the first time when they're on these medications. So that is a great question. Thank you so much for sharing that. If you have questions afterwards, you can leave them on this video. You can leave them on another video and I will find them and add them to the list. If you're on a GLP-1 medication and you are still not seeing the results you expected, you are not alone. These medications work really well, but they work best when they're combined with healthy, sustainable habits. These medications do not do everything for you. I do work with people around the world as a life coach to help them with these non-medical, sustainable habits that will help reinforce your results on your GLP-1 medication. If you're interested in learning more, you can definitely book a consult. I will leave all that information down below. If you're not subscribed to this channel, subscribe, because it's the place for medically based answers to your weight questions. Thank you so much for watching, and please be well.